The real reason this controversial 90-Day Fiancé couple's marriage is falling apart. Sarper Güven from 90-Day Fiancé may be responsible for ruining his relationship with Shekinah Garner. Sarper, a 45-year-old Turkish man, fell in love with Shekinah, a 43-year-old woman from Los Angeles, after meeting on a dating app. They dated for a while before entering into a serious relationship. While Sarper loved Shekinah, he also attempted to change her physical appearance. He pressured her to maintain a certain weight, controlled her diet, and selected her outfits. Sarper controlled other aspects of Shekinah's life and even played a role in her cosmetic surgery, designing her new nose. After spending most of his life in Turkey, Sarper moved to the United States on a K-1 visa in 90-Day Fiancé Season 11. He decided to marry Shekinah but wasn't entirely at ease living in her small apartment in Los Angeles. Sarper faced several new challenges with Shekinah, but they were able to overcome their issues and ultimately get married in the season finale. Instead of having a traditional wedding ceremony, Sarper and Shekinah opted for bedding. However, things didn't go as smoothly as they had hoped because Shekinah wasn't pleased with the bedroom layout and decorations. Sarper and Shekinah's marriage took a turn for the worse post-wedding. Before their wedding, Sarper and Shekinah faced constant relationship challenges. From the beginning, Sarper tried to dominate every aspect of Shekinah's life in an effort to shape her into his ideal partner. Likewise, Shekinah also sought to exert control over Sarper by setting 3 non-negotiable conditions: for him to stop training female clients, give up smoking, and make their relationship public on social media. She also grappled with accepting Sarper's extensive sexual history, which included physical relationships with over 2,500 women prior to her. Sarper and Shekinah's problems only got worse after they moved in together in the United States. Sarper felt trapped in Shekinah's small home and was direct about his feelings. Most recently, the couple appeared in 90-Day Fiancé Season 11 Tell-All, where he shared that his marriage quickly deteriorated just a month after the wedding. He stated, "She kicked me off the house, so I left the ring and I went out," and mentioned that he stayed in a rental for 10 days. Shekinah confirmed, "This is less than a month after we got married." Sarper publicly criticized Shekinah. He has confessed to having a controlling personality and a short temper, often leading to explosive fights between them. Sarper doesn't try to be polite during these arguments. Instead, he speaks his mind without filtering his words, even if they might hurt their relationship. Recently, he posted Instagram stories mocking his wife, Shekinah, for undergoing cosmetic surgery. He wrote, "Vet kikiankibits, she is non-stop doing something, the number of recovering days is more than regular days in our life." Sarper hasn't only mocked Shekinah on social media but also in front of his co-stars during Tell-All. He expressed his dislike of the marriage due to Shekinah and her expectations that he take on responsibilities. Sarper complained that Shekinah would constantly ask him to do household chores, such as taking out the garbage, walking the dog, going shopping, driving her to places, and fixing things. He even compared Shekinah to a dog on camera, stating, "You will lose me just because of you. And you will regret like a dog." Shekinah wants to leave Los Angeles. Recently, Shekinah revealed that she no longer wants to live in Los Angeles. She said, via Shibuti.com, "I don't know what the future holds. I don't want to be in LA much longer." While Shekinah didn't make it clear if she was moving out of Los Angeles because of her husband, Sarper, she indicated that she didn't want to build her future in California. She wants to live somewhere where she can afford a better place to live. It wouldn't be surprising if Sarper did indeed cause Shekinah to move to another state. He has been problematic, creating turmoil in his and Shekinah's lives. When Sarper first arrived in the US, he wasted no time in criticizing Shekinah's living situation. He made fun of her house and the fact that she had converted a part of it into her workspace. Sarper even compared living in her home to being in prison, saying that he and Shekinah's dog were prison inmates. Shekinah may have decided to leave Los Angeles because she was tired of Sarper's constant complaints. Are Shekinah and Sarper joining 90-Day, the last resort? There has been speculation that Sarper and Shekinah are on the brink of getting a divorce. However, there is a possibility that they will attend therapy before making a decision about their relationship. During the recent Tell-All, Shekinah discussed the difficulties she has been facing in her marriage to Sarper. She expressed, "We need so much therapy, revealing that seeking professional help may be her next step. If Sarper and Shakina do pursue therapy, they will likely do so on camera in 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 3, sharing their journey with viewers. Is Shakina or Sarper the real villain in their unhealthy marriage? Sarper is clearly the main reason his relationship with Shakina is falling apart. However, it would be wrong to solely blame him for the issues in the relationship, as Shakina's personality and constant complaining also provoke his angry outbursts. Both Sarper and Shakina are equally responsible for their marital problems. Sarper is at fault for being controlling and insensitive, while Shakina's inability to understand his personality and tendency to pick fights over trivial matters also contribute to their problems. Hopefully, their relationship has improved since filming 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 Tell All. 90 Day Fiancé, Shakina Garner should never have been cast. I don't think she's the right fit because of her red flags. Even though Shakina Garner and Sarper Given have grown on fans and have started to look like the perfect match, I still think that this 90 Day Fiancé won't last long, all thanks to Shakina's many red flags. Shakina is an esthetician from Los Angeles who met actor, model, personal trainer, and former exotic dancer, Sarper, during a Turkey trip. Shakina was impressed by Sarper's makeup skills. While Sarper wasn't looking for a serious relationship, he decided he could change his playboy ways for the American beauty. However, as Sarper began imposing restrictive and controlling behaviors on Shakina, he came across as selfish. Shakina was made to shut up when Sarper talked. Shakina seemed to like being bossed around, but she drew a line when it was time for Sarper to come to America. Since the reins of the relationship were in her hands now, to me, Sarper has started to look like a saint compared to Shakina, who is running the show and dismissing his needs while doing things that benefit her. Shakina is too jealous. When Shakina first joined Sarper at his gym in Istanbul and saw him with a client named Ezgi, she was instantly bitten by the green-eyed monster. She watched Sarper train the woman for about 2 seconds and pulled him aside to remind him they'd talked about female clients. She immediately left the gym, miffed since she'd assumed it was going to be a male client. I watched her telling the cameras that she'd asked Sarper not to have any women as clients and not to kiss women on the cheek while greeting them, and he was doing both with Ezgi, adding to Shakina's frustration. 30 minutes later, Shakina sat in the gym dressing room, sucking on a lollipop. Sarper was angry with Sarper, wondering what he had done wrong. "You didn't catch me on a bed with another woman," he declared. Sarper snapped at Shakina as he tried to convince her that kissing on the cheek was a tradition. "You shouldn't do it. You're dating an American girl now," she told her boyfriend, making an angry Sarper pull the lollipop out of her mouth and throw it on the floor. However, Shakina couldn't understand why Sarper was being disrespectful when she was the one feeling uncomfortable. I watched how Shakina didn't let Sarper have the last laugh. She punished him after finding out that 90% of his clients were women. She said it was shocking news to her. It made Shakina feel uncomfortable given Sarper's past. She didn't understand when Sarper told her he needed to train women as it was his job and he needed to make money. It appears Turkey doesn't have a lot of women trainers, hence men had to take up lady clients. Shakina set rules for Sarper that led to his financial situation becoming increasingly worse. Sarper revealed that since his clients were 90% women, his income had been cut by 90%. He had no savings left. It was all due to Shakina's jealousy and her inability to put her trust in Sarper, with whom she wanted to spend the rest of her life. Shakina is controlling with her partner. In an interview with Parade, Shakina spoke about how they did not stick to traditional gender roles in their relationship. She revealed that early on in the relationship, she had decided that she would be the one going to meet Sarper all the time. It made her feel like she was stepping out of her feminine role and being more masculine. Shakina wanted to look like a pursuer, and this is how she justified Sarper paying for her flights. I guess since Shakina thought Sarper was never coming to the US to be with her, he had to take care of the bills for her flights. Shakina also confessed that Sarper was doing more than just paying for Shakina's flight tickets with the little money he had left in his bank. He was also covering everything for her when she went to Turkey. Shakina admitted that she had never paid for anything when she was with Sarper. I'm sure she was saving a lot of money when she went to Turkey because she never reached for her wallet. Shakina knew that Sarper was dipping into his savings a lot, and she even felt bad about it. But at the same time, he's a grown man. He can figure it out, she added. Shekinah carries a lot of anger. A fight between Shekinah and Sarper turned physical during an episode of 90 Day Fiancé, the other way when he tried to snatch her phone away and ended up pulling out her hair extensions. Sarper admitted that he regretted what he did and accepted that he was mad at the time, but his emotions changed the next day. He knew he had made a mistake when he grabbed her phone. He mentioned he could have been more calm because his intention wasn't to hurt Shekinah. I'm convinced all Sarper wants from Shekinah is for her to be happy. Strangely enough, Shekinah forgave Sarper for his actions. Her decision to excuse his bad behavior was looked down upon by viewers. Shekinah was called out for setting a bad example for her daughter because she took Sarper back despite him having done something inexcusable. Then again, Shekinah has revealed her angry side on camera several times, just like her partner. Shekinah was furious when she returned to Turkey and noticed that Sarper hadn't gotten rid of the bottles on his shelf, which reminded him of the 2,500 women he'd slept with. Sarper had failed to understand why Shekinah had come to his house with this mood, and she snapped at him by saying it was his apartment that had made her feel upset. Shekinah proceeded to pull out a binder containing 143 pages of a love letter an ex-boyfriend had written to her as she weaponized it to give Sarper a taste of his own medicine. Viewers also watched Shekinah storming off the set of The Other Way Tell-All when she became upset about a woman named Didi confronting her. Sarper had met the American woman online and was still in touch with her, which offended Shekinah. Didi had a lot to say about Sarper and Shekinah's relationship, including her theory that Sarper was put off by Shekinah's possessiveness. However, Shekinah ultimately left the set in anger, saying she was sick of hearing about Sarper's past, from his bottle collection to his notebook to Didi. She wanted Sarper to be the man she expected the 90 Day Fiancé star to be. Shekinah was even angry about Sarper not coming sooner to console her backstage.